Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. I'm here at Alan's camera today to play with, to sniff, to unbox the 18-300. I almost said 2.8. If I said 2.8, that thing would have been a huge, huge lens, but it's not. It's a 18-300 3.5 5.6 ED VR DX lens. So it's for a DX camera, and I know a bunch of you out there are thinking that I'm going to say something like it smells like don't buy it, but you may be surprised what I say about this one today, and I have my reasoning for that. But before we get to my reasoning, which we're going to do after I take some sample images, let's unbox it, sniff it, talk about it for a little bit, and then come back for some sample shots. So here we have a cardboard box. Inside the cardboard box, we have a lens case and a lens hood. What is interesting about the lens hood, nothing's terribly too interesting for it, but it's shaped like a pedal. You have to use this lens hood on this lens. You can't really put other lens hoods on it because at 18, it won't show up with the lens hood in the way, and at 300, it won't show up with lens hoods in the way. It's possible with a different type of lens hood that you may get some of that vignetting. You may see some of the lens hoods show up. Not in this one if you use the proper lens hood. That's why you want to use the right lens hood with the right lens. Take that out. Then we have this hexagon. It's like Darth Vader. I am not. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever that was. You have your warranty. You have your manual in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 languages. I am going to read Japanese and then English, and then I don't even know what half of these languages are. And is it even upside down? No, that's Russian. So anyway, get to the lens. Taking it out, keep taking it out. You got your 5-year warranty. Don't forget, Nikon gives you 5 years of warranty on these lenses, which is a great thing. And let's look at this lens. Heavy. This is heavy. Wow. It also has a lock. You can lock it at 18. I didn't realize that. So here, it's a 77mm filter thread, which is huge. Looks good. Feels good. It's heavy. 18-300, 3.5 to 5.6. What that means for those of you out there who aren't aware, that when you are at 18, it's at 3.5. And as you zoom out to 300, it cuts down on the amount of light that you let in, so it's a 5.6. 18-300 on a DX camera is going to be about a 27, 28 millimeter to 450 millimeter on your lens, on your camera. That is a huge range, and we're going to do some samples showing you what 18 looks like and what 300 looks like, because it is a massive zoom. The lens feels really good in the hands. You've got your manual auto switch, and then manual. You have your VR on, you have your VR normal, and active. Normal is that you use when you're standing on solid ground and you're just shooting from something that's not moving. Active, from what I've read, is that if you're on a boat, or you're on a train, or you're somewhere that's moving, then that's when you want to put active into play. But really, let's look at this. It extends this far. What's it smell like? I'm thinking it smells like an erector set. And so it extends pretty far. Variable aperture lens means that it starts at one and ends at another. So who is this lens? Well, there's also a lock on it, so it locks it at 300. Let's see if it creeps at all. Creeping means that it will zoom on its own like the old 18-200 did. I don't know if this one, I have an 18-200 here for a size comparison. This isn't locked. This one doesn't creep. Good. No creeping. So here's the two lenses next to each other. You can see the difference. 18-300 is larger, 18-200 is a lot smaller. But that's okay. You know, this was a one lens to rule them all type of thing. Metal mount, you can see the difference. If you're going to carry this, no reason why you shouldn't carry this. So let me tell you who this lens is for and what I think of it. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think of it after I play with it a little bit. But it's one lens to take around. It's not for a professional who's looking to get the most out of their pictures, that's going to use it on as a full-time pro. Can you get great shots from this? Absolutely. But it's for those people that are traveling, that want to spend about $1,000 on one lens and not have multiple lenses to carry around. The 18 is extremely wide. The 300 is going to let you telephoto quite at a large distance. So it's a great travel lens for people that know that they're going to be shooting mostly outside. Inside, you can probably shoot down to a 1/15 of a second, which I actually did playing with one earlier. A 1/15 of a second, zoomed out to 300, and the image still looked great. So really, I have to look at these things, and I know some of you guys are probably disappointed that I'm not just ripping it apart like I may have done in the past, but I've come to realize that there are pro lenses, and then there's lenses that are not meant to be for professionals. This is an everyday walk-around lens for somebody who just wants to shoot photos, that they're not looking to sell these. They just want to capture everyday moments, and they're happy with the way their pictures look just when they capture it. This is the lens for you if you want to spend $1,000 and you want a walk-around lens. You're traveling Europe, you're traveling over the US, and you want to cover everything from extreme wide-angle group shots to extreme telephoto shots. You've got it in this lens. So let's come back and test out the lens and see how the samples look. So I just played with this 18-300 on a Nikon D3100 just to see what we could do at 18 and at 300 to show you different samples. But before I show you those samples, I want to remind you guys out there who are in the US or around the world that the new I Shoot Raw US shirt, they are out and they are available. And if you use the code USA at store.froknowsphoto.com for this shirt, you will get 2 free I Shoot Raw wristbands with your order. So use code USA. So now back to this. Okay, it doesn't pain me to say it, but this is doing what it's supposed to do. It's a very, very well put together lens. Sure, at 18, as you can see from some of the examples of the wall that I shot outside, sure, there's some bowing going on. That's what's going to happen. You see that the straight lines aren't straight. That's what happens at 18. At 300, you can see that it's much straighter. You know, there's a trade-off to having one lens that does everything. At 18, you're at 3.5. At 300, you're at 5.6, correct? You're at 5.6. So you're losing light, but outside, it's not a bad thing. But what I found well, here's some more examples on the screen. You can see the wide shot here, and now you can see the 300 millimeter shot of, I guess, the building across the way, and you can see the steeple. Look at that difference. Here's one on the left, and here's the other on the right. You can see how far you can look with this lens. And now look at the side of the building. You can see what 18 looks like. You get all the cars in there, and then 300, you zoom straight in, and you can see that window or the wall. So you get an extreme range with one lens. That is a good thing. That is not a bad thing at all. Sure, in low light situations, you may have some issues with the 5.6 because you have to raise your ISO, but look at this sample at 18, and now I zoomed in to 300, and I'm shooting at a 15th of a second indoors, and you can still see that the boxes, those Nikon boxes, are still sharp. Now, what I found to be the most incredible thing when shooting photos of Marlena outside, look, you can see the one of her at 18, then you can see the bokeh on the background, how it's nice and smooth. It looks very, very good. By the way, you can download the full res exports of the sample images on froknowsphoto.com. Use the link below on YouTube. You can see all of these, download them so you can pixel peep and find out all you want to know about them and make your own decision on if this is a lens for you or if basically what you think about it. But look at this sample image on the screen. I close focused on her eye. Here's the shot of her eye. Now look at how close I was to her when I was shooting. That zoomed out to 300. I'm about 6, 7, I think 8 inches or less away from her eye, and I am focusing with this 300 millimeter. That is incredible. I can't do that with a 70 to 200 2.8. I have to be like this far away at 200 to focus, if not further. So with this 300, look how close I am standing near her to get that shot. That's what I find to be incredible. So that's it. There's your review of the 18-300. I think if you just want one lens to travel around with, you don't want to carry around the Hebrew Trinity, the 14-24, the 24-70, the 70-200, or whatever you have on a DX camera, this may be a good option for you. If you're a professional or you're looking to move the professional way, this may not be the best choice for you for a long time. You can start with it, but for $1,000, I'd rather see you buy a 2.8 lens. But for people that are just traveling, and they're not professionals, they just want to get great pictures of their kids playing sports, they want to get wide shots of the kids on stage during the play, this could be a great option for you for one lens to do everything so you never need to change it. So that's about it. I'm sure it's not what you expected, but really, that's the new mentality that I've lived by. You're either going to be a professional or you're just looking to get cool pictures and just capture cool images, and that's what this lens is going to do. So I'm pretty happy with it for that. It is expensive at $1,000, but it's replacing almost 3 lenses for those people who don't want to carry around multiple lenses. So from Alan's camera, Jared Polin, phronosphoto.com. See ya. So let's take a closer look at these images right here on the screen so we can pixel peep a little bit, just point out some things that I noticed when I looked at them here in Lightroom again. So here's a shot at 300. It looks fine. Everything at 300 seems to be working really, really well, even though it's 5.6, even though this is indoors at 1/200th of a second. Then I went and shot the wider shot, and it's not the greatest scene in the world, but you can still see that this was the focus point. Here you can see the boxes out of focus. They don't look uber-duper spectacular, but you do notice some fall-off around the corner at 18. You may not notice it as much on that shot, but here, out at 300, you can see how sharp, how colorful. It looks very good. The edges look okay. I mean, you get some vignetting, that's going to happen, but here's where you notice the major vignetting around the edges. Because when you have these super telephoto lenses that go from 18 to 300, the center portion is most likely going to be sharper than the outside edges. Look at the vignetting here on the outside edges. That is an extreme, well, that's a big amount of vignetting. And also, if you look down at the corners, look at the, I don't even, diffraction, what do you call this? I don't even know what you call this, because maybe it's the chromatic aberration going on, even though it's not purple, but look at that. That is weird. That's all the way at the edges, and look how blurry it gets around the edges. But again, this is a consumer grade lens. This is not a professional lens, so it should not be put in the same boat as saying, oh, it's terrible. You can't compare this to a 70 to 200 2.8 because this is not even close to that. We know that this lens is for basically people who just want to have one lens, take it around, shoot anything from ultra wide to ultra tight, and they're not going to really care too much about the vignetting on the edges or that it's not extremely sharp around the corners. Just some more shots. You can see this, and I'm going to skip through those real quick. But look at the bowing of the building. This is what happens at 18. This is at 300. The lines are much straighter. So you can see this curvature that's going on here, the whoop, whoop. It's just, that's what's happening when you're shooting this. Let's see if there's even a lens correction. I don't even know if Lightroom has a lens correction for this yet. I didn't even think about that. Let me go into this and see what happens. I don't think it exists yet. Let's see. Make Nikon. Wow, look at all the lenses. Let's look over on the side here. Maybe there's something similar. We'll use the 28 to 300 one to see what happens. Yeah, we got to wait for the full lens correction to come out, but look, without it, with it. So the lens correction will do a little bit to help. Yeah, so that's what I got to say about that. But the lens correction in Photoshop does help, so when there is the profile for that, it's going to make it look better. That looks fine. Let me get back out of here, get back in the library. But what I found to be awesome is the fact that you could zoom in this far. Look how far away we are from here. Look at this. There, that's the 18, that's the 300. So really, we'll move through these real quick. The portraits look good. I did this so you can see the out of focus areas. Check them all out on the website. You can download the full res. But the fact that I can get this close to her eye and be at 300 and focus it is just incredible. So I wanted to just throw in a little bit of this extra information on these files in the computer. But yeah, it's still a basic lens. It's $1,000. It's still expensive, but for somebody who wants a huge range like this and isn't terribly too concerned about those things around the edges, then it's perfectly fine for them. So I'll just sign off again. Jared Polin, phronosphoto.com. See ya. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, please do so you can be notified of all future videos as they are announced. And also, if you would like a free guide, a guide to capturing motion in low light situations, please click right here, put your name, email address in there, hit send it, and you will get sent that email automatically with this free guide, as well as a link to watch a 60-minute long flash photo video from the studio that Adam and I created. So check that out. Please sign up, and thank you.